Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ibrahim Mustafa, and this is I Am TALKCAST, a motivational podcast that inspires, bring people to give you value and to let you appreciate that yes, whatever you want to do is possible. I believe in you, and today we have a wonderful guest all the way from Nigeria. He is an international speaker, professional storyteller, transforming experiences into solution-driven stories in 4 weeks. If you want that. He's trained over 129 plus people in the business of storytelling. He's an international speaker, and he is someone you will love to hear from. And like I told you, this is an inspirational show, and we talk about I Am Talker series. And today, you get the opportunity to listen to my brother, good friend, who is doing it all possible to reach out to the masses in terms of storytelling. Let's welcome the one and only IZU Samuel. Welcome, my brother.
Thank you so much, and very good to be here, my very good friend. I feel so honored to be on this call, live and direct, having this fantastic and phenomenal conversation on your platform. And this is just a phenomenal platform that's, over the years has consistently offered value to people, shaping people's lives and teaching people how to effectively communicate, sharing their ideas, and standing out as leaders and champions. So good to be here, Mr. Ibrahim.
Thank you very much. You just had his opening remarks, and you will be in love with his presentation. So welcome, my brother. And how are things over there?
Everything is all good.
Great.
We give thanks to Almighty God, and we're doing our best to ensure that we give back to the society from the well of information and experiences that we have garnered over the years. But everything is all right. And thank you for asking.
I appreciate. So the first official question would be, you've done a lot of things. I've watched your progress, from how the journey started and where it is now, and the clients that you are commanding now, and the speaking engagements and one-on-one. Tell us what you do exactly so that people will get to appreciate you more.
Yes, so I am a professional storyteller. I help people to transform their experiences into transformational stories. I believe that everything about impacting the world centers around effective storytelling. People would always obviously forget our grades, people forget our cars, people forget our houses and everything about us, but people would never forget our stories. People would never also forget how we share our ideas. So, Mr. Ibrahim, I help people to find their voices. A couple of years ago, I realized that I came from an environment that mitigated my voice. I came from an environment that didn't allow me to express myself intelligently. And one certain time, I decided to engage myself in trainings, build my capacity. And from that moment, that decision wasn't just about myself. That decision was also to help as many people to find their voices. And that is what I do in a nutshell, training individuals, organizations, platforms to be able to use their stories as a tool to be a blessing to the world at large. And the other part of me is that I work with the Al Jazeera as an investigative journalist. And the work is also all centered around effective storytelling. Yeah, so everything about me is just about helping people to find their voices and be able to communicate effectively to the best point that really suits who truly they are. Thank you, and back to you, Mr. Ibrahim.
Wow, that's great. The other question I have is that you've also been doing this, like I said, a lot. You've, like you mentioned, working with different organizations, working with different people and stuff. To you, what do you see as one thing that entrepreneurs lack when it comes to storytelling? How to pitch their ideas, or how to even defend who they are in terms of their brands?
Yeah, so if you ask me, I would say that one of the things that entrepreneurs lack is they lack the composition to be able to share their stories, the composition to be able to share their real stories. There is one thing that is lacking in the marketplace across the world. It is the fact that people are not sharing their original stories. People are only repeatedly sharing stories about other people. So I believe that there is a gap in the marketplace, and that gap is all about the fact that most entrepreneurs are not deliberate about systematically sharing their stories in a way that defines their experiences and what possibly they might have been through, because there is no business that doesn't have a story. There is no entrepreneur that doesn't have a story. All businesses and all entrepreneurs are all connected to a story. So I see lots of entrepreneurs, very intelligent, but they lack that capacity and that temerity to be able to use their stories in a way that can build confidence in their clients to take the decision of buying from them. Right? That is just a lacuna I see in the marketplace with most entrepreneurs across the world, not just in Africa, but across the world. Thank you.
Great. The other side of it is you've mentored a lot of young people, and I've seen the progress, like I said, and you've seen stories of people and who just walk to you and they feel like, oh, I want to share my story, I want to speak in public, I want to do this. Which among of them is one transformative story that you've seen, like someone who is persistent, someone who has come to your shoes, and the person has been able to develop the confidence to do more? Do you have any of those stories?
Yeah, I have lots of those relatable stories. I still remember the story about a certain young girl, a teenager, one of those schools I trained. This girl lost the mom, lost the elder brother. It was a very chaotic situation. And this happened some pretty years ago. So the young girl was she was just about losing her vision, disconnecting herself from the possibilities of becoming what she had always wanted to become. So I took my time to listen to this girl's story, how she lost almost everything about her life. And she said something that really inspired me. She said to me, IZU Samuel, sir, I am going to do everything within my powers, God helping me to stand strong. Those words, I thought she was just saying those words, but obviously, through the years, I have seen this young girl climb from a little girl that lost everything to a little girl that has motivated and still motivating people to stand strong regardless of what they go through. So for me, that young girl is a roadmap to the possibilities that people can go through a lot of challenges and still standing. Right. So, and that girl I'm talking about, she's a Nigerian girl from Anambra State. And she is a clear example that when you believe, work, and remain consistent, that everything that's about concerns your story would surely end in a way that shapes not just your life, but the life of many other people. The girl I'm talking about right now is taking one of her courses and programs in Germany. So from the local place in Anambra State in Nigeria to a girl that won scholarship to go to Germany to study. So you see, persistence is not just about what you say. Persistence is about what you refuse to not stop doing, consistently doing it and believing in yourself. Like you always say, I believe in you. So I believe in that lady. And she's really doing amazingly well right now. So that story remains a statement that I can never, ever forget about the possibilities that can happen in someone's life, especially when you believe and work towards it. Thank you.
When you believe and work towards it. So if you are listening to this and you believe, you need to work towards it and make it possible. When you believe that it's possible, then you put your hands into work and make it possible. We are listening to the one and only IZU Samuel from Nigeria. He's an international keynote speaker and he's done a lot in terms of storytelling and public speaking. You are listening to I Am TALKCAST, and you'll get to watch this live on LinkedIn. You get to watch this live on YouTube. You get to watch this live on Facebook and any other platform that is streaming live. And you can also follow this, get this on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and all the podcasts platforms that we are talking about. Join us and let's make history. Join us and let's talk to the one and only IZU Samuel. You've done all this, and I know you have a framework. You coach TEDx speakers, aspiring TEDx speakers, people who want to take the stage on and share their story. And I believe that that's the biggest platform for storytelling. If you want to get like real stories, real time stories, documented stories, I think the TEDx platform. And he is also a trainer. He coaches people who want to go on to the TEDx platform. So if you are listening to this and you have the intention or you've been selected to speak on any TEDx platform, you can reach out to him. So talk to us about that and that is important.
Yeah, so when you listen to the likes of Tony Robbins, you listen to the likes of Simon Sinek, and the best of all those global speakers and some African speakers as well across all regions. TEDx is one platform that projects and positions you. I'm going to say that again. TEDx platform is one platform that projects and positions you both as a professional speaker, as a business person, as a socialist. No matter what you are and who you are out there, you need the TEDx stage to be able to reach out to millions and thousands and then tons of numbers of people all over the world. Right. So the global stage called the TEDx stage is not limited to any region at all, provided your story is reasonable and very strategic. You would really need the TEDx platform to be able to fly. So I encourage you, as you walk towards getting into 2024, ensure that it's part of what you're going to be achieving before the end of 2024 to deliver your TED Talk. And that can be possible when you get a coach, and it's part of the services I can also offer to you if you are interested. And thank you so much, Mr. Ibrahim, for mentioning that. Thank you, and back to you.
Great. Get in touch, get out there, do what you can do. Reach out to IZU if you have the intention to speak on TEDx platforms. So the next question has to do with where you are coming from. What has inspired you to do this? You mentioned that in the introduction, but I want you to touch more on that. What were some of the difficulties? What were some of the challenges? And starting from where you are and linking that to where you want to go to, because I know that you've not gotten to where you want to get to. But just give us some synopsis. What were some of the challenges? And yes.
Yeah, so where I come from an environment, and not necessarily my family. I come from an environment that had lots of people, controversial people with different mindset. And those people, they are very patriarchal. So they do not really believe that certain voices should be heard. And I was one of those voices that they believed that I shouldn't be heard. So I had lots of ideas to share. I had fantastic thoughts contributions to make, but these people never believed that my voice ever counted. In fact, a very clear example, in my first degree, my 100 level, that's what we call it, the first degree here, your degree in Nigeria, 100 level. So I participated in a certain art exhibition competition, and I took second position across Africa or something. And I was invited by my vice chancellor. So when I got into the office of my vice chancellor on that precious and unforgettable day, I realized that I had something great to say. I wanted to express my joy. I wanted to express how I felt. I wanted to tell my story. But for some reason, as soon as I got in there, the appearance of the vice chancellor and some other people in the office at the time affected my confidence. So I couldn't speak anymore. I couldn't express myself. I was jittering. I felt so low of myself, like I didn't deserve to speak in such a network. It became a resounding voice within me that really affected my mind. affected a lot of things about me. And that was how I wasn't able to communicate how intelligently I could be in that meeting. Leaving that meeting on that day, that was the day I decided that my voice would not only be heard, but I'm going to be helping as many other people to find their voices. From there, I joined the debates club. I joined the public speaking series, signed up for the Carnegie's programs, and I had to commit myself to finding my voice. And not just about finding my voice, I committed myself to developing myself, building myself, attending events, running programs, serving in most networks, and just everything around being with the right people and sitting on the right seat. So those things were part of what decision I took. And over the years, it's paying off. A man on a vision can never get to a certain destination. When you get to a destination, it's usually a statement that says you are going to be going to another destination. When you reach one destination, is a call for many more destinations. So I've not gotten to where I'm going to because I'm a man on assignment. So and I'm doing everything within my powers. Everything I started doing from the day one, pretty years ago, I'm still doing them today. Learning, unlearning, relearning, being in the right networks, growing my skills, positioning myself, and disciplining myself to be able to ensure that I do not build a level of war as opposed to building bridges that will help me to keep advancing the course of my journey. But it's been amazing. I would say this as I summarize this talk here, that where I am today and where I am going to tomorrow, they are all a motivation as a result of understanding where I am coming from. I have a local adage that says, it takes a foolish child to forget where they are coming from. A foolish child would always forget where he comes from or where she comes from. I will never forget where I am coming from, because the day I forget where I'm coming from, I would lose sight of where I'm going to. Back to you, Mr. Ibrahim.
That's powerful. That's powerful. The day he forgets where he's coming from, he's going to lose sight of where he's going to. These are points that you should take when you're listening to this. We've dealt with a lot of speakers, and be it people who speak religiously, be it people that are invited to speak, like at programs, be it people that you just out of random, maybe the person is a CEO and the person gets the opportunity to speak on many platforms. What do you see that some people should do to be able to tell better stories? What do you think that is lacking in some of those stories? Because classical example, there was one at the event I attended, two speakers. One spoke because the person had authority in that school. Person was a lecturer, and when you go to school and you are doing speaking engagements and they invite a lecturer, because the person feels like that he or she is from that school, the person spoke like 2 hours, and the other speaker spoke like 30 minutes. And to me, the speaker who spoke for 30 minutes made more impact than the speaker who spoke for like 2 hours. What do you think could be the differences?
Yeah, both in effective communications and storytelling, it is fundamental to mention that precision is very important. Precision is very important. Keeping your ideas very short is very important, because we live in a world where people are losing their attention. Their attention losing span is increasing every now and then. So the best thing that you can ever do whenever you open your mouth to speak is that you must be so deliberate about keeping your ideas very short. And one thing that I also think that most people are not doing when it comes to sharing their stories is that most people are not effectively and authentically sharing their stories. Authenticity and the relatability of your story is what really makes your voice to not be forgettable at all.
Yeah.
So I so much believe that I believe that it is truly important to note that in as much as we are trying to build very intelligent possibilities and realities about who we are and what the business is about, we must learn by all means to ensure that our stories are told in authentic ways and the most relatable ways. Remember, what makes your story what it is, it's not just about how intelligent the story sounds, but what
Right.
makes your story what it is all about your possibility and your capacity to be able to cause your story to be one that a 50-year-old and a 5-year-old can understand what your story is about. So if you're a 50-year-old can say, this is what your story is about, and someone in Canada can say, this is what your story is about, and then someone in Africa cannot relate to what you're saying, and a 5-year-old cannot relate to what you're saying, it simply means your story is not relatable and it's not authentic, it's not powerful. So I would encourage people that want to share their stories to ensure that you are authentic with your story all the time. Be authentic with your stories all the time and keep your stories in a way that it is relatable at all points that you have the opportunity to share your story. So that would just be what I would say to people. The final thing I'm going to say right here on this question is that whenever you share your stories, you must perceive your stories to be a product. You know, the way you go to the market to buy a Shaw mic, you go to the market to buy an SUV, to buy an iPhone. That also is the way you have to consider your stories. You have to consider your stories as a product that addresses the challenges of people. So don't just tell stories to entertain people, but tell stories with the intent to know and knowing that your story is going to be a product that addresses the challenges of people, your business, their personal lives, who they are, and everything that surrounds their personalities should all be tied to the possibilities and the realities of respecting and honoring these stories and the realities of the lessons and resolutions in the story. So thank you so
Great.
much, and back to you, Mr. Ibrahim.
Great. So if you are watching here, if you are listening to this on AM radio, you may not get to see these images. But if you are watching on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and any other watching platforms that you can video platform, you get to see that. Just type on Google IZU Samuel, and you get to see all his information, all the great works that he's done and he will continue to do. So, my brother, can you talk about? Do you have a book or course that you can talk about?
Yeah, I have I would always recommend my course, The Business of Storytelling. That remains my course, and it's an important course that I would always encourage people to go for, whether you're a business person, whether you are an individual, a team lead. The course, The Business of Storytelling, will help you to be able to optimize your effectiveness in communications and your ability to lead strategically as a champion, knowing that leaders don't raise followers, but leaders raise leaders. And the
Yes.
second thing is I'm building a community, and the community is all about Audacious Storytelling Community. So it's a community of family of professional speakers and intending professional speakers and storytellers coming with lots of opportunities. So those are the platforms that socially I offer to people, and they come with massive value in it. Thank you so much, Mr. Ibrahim.
That's good. That's good. So make sure you get in touch with him. So where can we get in touch?
Yeah, you can get in touch with me on my LinkedIn. You can check me out on my Instagram. Those are the platforms you can check me out, and we will be sure to be connected.
Great. Great. So this is the I Am TalkCast, where we bring you inspiration, where we empower you, we inform you, we share our experiences, and you get to listen and take action. If you are listening and take action and know that whatever you want to do is possible. It's possible. My name is Ibrahim Mustafa, And today we are with IZU Samuel. We still have more to come from him because he's a man of wisdom, man of his words, a man of opportunities. So, my brother, the next question or the next thing that I want to find out from you is that with all the things that you've done, with all the creative events, you sit down and you feel like, oh, this is what I want to do. This is what do you think is lacking in Africa that we can do to help young people who want to start their businesses? Because I know you've dealt with a lot of young business owners because of the network that you have, and you also experience some of the challenges. What can we do to be able to help young people so that they can also rise up to the level of other, like maybe to what other countries are having?
Yeah, in my own opinion, I would say that an African person should know that they need to work 7 times as better, much as any other person out there. And it's not because Africans are not intelligent. It is because we have leaders who have projected us in a very bad note in light. So as an African person, if you are going to be accepted in any global system or platform, you need to deliberately work harder, positioning yourself, brushing up yourself. And at the apex of it all is that you must learn how to speak. Mr. Ibrahim, I realize that many Africans are very talented, but they lack the capacity to express themselves. So communications is going to be putting many and most Africans at positions. It has done, so I would encourage as many people as possible to ensure that no matter what they do, where they are, as Africans, learn to effectively communicate, learn to be excellent. Whatever that comes into your hands as an African person, do not let it go until you have given it a touch of excellence and class. Excellence and class. So those should be the watchword. And I'm proudly an African man, and I'm proudly coming from the African region. But you know what I'm more proud of? I am more proud of Africans because we are solution-driven set of people. And that is one beautiful thing about us. But then we must learn to express our ideas. We must learn to be able to position ourselves in a way that people can always relate to class and excellence. Back to you, Mr. Ibrahim.
Class and excellence. Let's go. Right. If you're listening, these are all powerful gems, powerful stories, powerful enough for you to make your day and to brighten your day with inspiration and dose of hope. If you're an African, there's hope. You can make it. It's possible. It's possible. We are coming to the apex of this program, and Izu, I always ask this question. I once went to do, my passion also lies in, and that's what I do for charity. Go to communities, make sure that the communities that don't have technology in terms of electricity and other stuff, and they don't have access to labs, computer labs. I just offer my services, get my volunteers, and we go to empower them with digital skills. And one of the sessions that we went to, a young lady asked me a question, and I always keep that question in my mind, whatever I'm doing. We finished a session with them. It was a training program, and 9 years, it's 9 years. And she asked me a question which I keep on, and I want you to tie that with your final lap of motivation. You have to inspire the people, let them know that yes, it's not over yet until it's over. So, and this is the question she asked me. She looked at me, and we're just, I love to play with kids. And she came over 9 years, 9 years, and she asked a question. I'm just trying to get the image out. And the question is, and you already answered part of the question, but I want you to also retouch on that question for people to hear of your final lap of distant motivation. And this is what she asked me. She came to me and asked, "Oh, Mr. Ibrahim," she started by thanking me. "Oh, thank you for coming to our school." And her English is not that good because of the type of school she's like rural, it's a rural community, but she's trying. And she said, "Is there hope for me?" She asked that, "Is there hope for her?" And initially I said, yes, there's hope. But on the hindsight, I asked a question like, "Why did you ask that question?" And she said, where they are coming from, that is the first time they've seen she has touched a laptop. First time in her life, she has touched her laptop. There's no lights and things are not going on well. And coupled with the fact that her sisters who finished junior high school cannot even further to the next chapter. And that is why she asked, "Is there hope?" And that got me a lot thinking. And whatever I do, I still keep that. And I know that I didn't answer her well because there are still more answers too. So when I meet African leaders like you, I still read that question. Izu, is there hope for that young girl?
Yes, of course, there is hope for the young girl, for the girl to be able to touch the laptop on that precious day, for the girl to be able to, for the girl to have seen you, for the girl to have come in contact with you. It means there is hope for the young girl. And, as I mentioned to you, leaders raise leaders, readers don't raise followers. Right. So for that girl to have come in contact with you is a clear-cut justification that there is hope for the girl. Is a clear-cut justification that, there is still life for the girl to live. So, obviously, there is no reason to be worried. There is no reason to be, to be confused about any given challenge at this point. That girl is going to be an asset to the rest of, her country and her continent. That girl is going to be a voice, because you know what? My major reason for saying this confidently is because she has come in contact with someone who is building, someone who is an icon, someone who is a hope giver. Rather, my solar is down, man. So someone who is a hope giver, someone who is a very massive support systems.
Wow.
So I believe that she's going to be able to deliver very effectively, right? Mr.
Right.
Ibrahim, are you going to be editing this? Just give me a second. Let me put my solar on, please.
Okay, that's fine. It's back. Let's go.
All right. So there is hope for the girl, and I believe that the girl is going to be. She will grow up to become someone that obviously many people will see as an icon and as hope and as roadmap to possibilities and inspiration. So of course there is hope for the girl, and I believe in the girl as well. Yeah.
Great. Your final dose of inspiration for young Africans. Let's go.
No matter where you are, see the place you are at the moment as a place where you need to begin to act upon. If you're thinking of going global, you need to first of all go deeper into where you are. Be a problem solver. Don't talk about problems, solve problems. Don't talk about problems, provide solutions. And be the reason someone out there is inspired. Be the reason someone out there got a hope. And the final thing I'm going to say to you is that if you are in search of someone who is going to be motivating anybody out there, and if you are in search of someone that will motivate yourself, you have to look in the mirror and see who is in the mirror. So the person you see in the mirror is the first and the most pivotal person who is going to be motivating yourself. So find motivation in yourself and keep going. Let your stories be heard, and please tell your stories right now. And once again, I'd like to appreciate you, Mr. Ibrahim, for the privilege of having to have me on your platform today. And I believe that this conversation is going to shape the life of one or two people across the world. My name is IZU Samuel, And I'm so happy to have been on this call for a while. Over to you, Mr. Ibrahim, and thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And thank you very much, IZU Samuel, for honoring our invitation to be on I Am TALKCAST. We believe that together we can make Africa proud. We believe that together the world can hear the story of Africa and African young people who are climbing up and who are doing all their best to be unstoppable and to create hope for themselves, their families, and their communities in Africa as a whole. I believe in you, and I believe that together there's more to come. Thank you very much. And